Hi Keith,
Hey there.
how are you?
I'm well. How's yourself?
Great. Mondays are Mondays, or in your case, Tuesdays. Oh, busy weekend, lots happening. So, I thought
I didn't
the
know whether it was going to be on.
usual thing. I can't predict on a Monday night whether it's going to be early or late. So I just play it by ear. Unfortunately, that's why I prefer to stick to a sort of an unscheduled type of thing,
Yeah,
and much more informal. So. Um,
yeah.
I know the hangout on Saturday went really well. I thought the standing in for Jack, but I noticed they starting up again next weekend, next August the 2nd, which I was surprised at because it was always 2 weeks apart. So whatever he's planning to introduce next week is starting next Sunday.
Oh, okay.
So I'll try and attend, but it's the usual. Um, let's try midnight Eastern Standard Time. So what's that with you? That's
Oh, I have no
um,
idea.
well, 5 hours forward, so you're about 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning.
That's okay for me.
Yeah, yeah. It's I know he's relaunching the it's the second anniversary of the Amazing Plastic Show,
Yeah,
or Amazing Plastic Group, and he's relaunching it, I think, as well. So it's interesting to see what he's been planning or up to, or what he's going to do. Sorry,
yeah.
I'm in the middle of doing these windows, and I'm trying to get them down in one go. Um, what are you up to this week?
Well, I've been putting a lot of model building on the back burner as such because I'm learning Arduino.
Yep, and
Um,
that's time consuming. I noticed
a time consuming.
I noticed there seems to be quite a few people at the minute that seem to have decided to go down that route. There's a guy who posts on Facebook. Oh, sugar! I forgot his name now. He's a professional model builder. Hold on, I'll get his name now. Bear with me. And he's looking at it a different way. He seems to be just doing everything on the basis of chips in preference. But just I'll get his name now. Hold on a second.
What's he doing, sir?
He's doing everything using chips rather than go down the programming route. He's just basically getting sets of chips to do the different features. You know, like a chip for the flashing, a chip for the, which is all very well if you can get it to work. But
Yeah.
hold on, Joseph Melvin. That's it. Don't know if you've heard of him. He's he does sort of kits, and he's doing a 1/6 scale Nomad, you know, from the original series.
Yep.
That type of thing. And what else does he do? He's working on a large scale enterprise. I think is it an 11-foot or an 8-foot, one of the two. So he's busy, but every time he opens his mouth, he just reminds me of John Wayne. He's got exactly the same accent.
Really?
And exactly the same politics as well. So, but he seems to know his stuff. He's been involved with a lot of modeling over the years, you know, for movies and TV series and so on.
Oh,
But very opinionated, and I wouldn't want them as an enemy, shall we say? But he knows his stuff. He seems to know everything about modeling, but and uses very different techniques. But it is all to pay his wages. It's not a pleasure like us. It's to bring in the income.
yeah.
But things like he does sets of lights and so on for Captain's Chair. You know, if you wanted to build an original series Captain's Chair, he was doing a 1-to-1 scale Nomad as well as the 1/6 scale one. He had a kit of the Guardian, you know, the city in the Edge of Forever, the Guardian, the gate.
Yeah.
He was doing a kit of that as well. So there's a lot on his plate. It seems to just churn stuff out. And he does videos on YouTube. But again, they're very sort of. It doesn't do one thing. He seems to have this, and this, and you're sort of
Yeah.
jumping back and forth in the video, and I think it's just his personality. He's just a very, very active guy. Just the way his mind works. So how are you getting on with the programming then? Do you, I mean, I know
I'm getting on with it. I joined a training group.
Yep.
Called Open Source Hardware Group.
Yep.
And slowly but surely I've been working through his tutorials and obviously doing a lot of my own. And I jumped ahead of Block. I watched a whole bunch of them, and you know, they're great, but you really do need to sort of stop and go back to where I was before and cement it all in.
Hands-on in practice. Yeah, hands-on in practice, I suppose. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
And then if you get sometimes you get, I know a guy I think I've mentioned before, xrobots.co. He does, he builds, basically, he's doing an Iron Man Hulk Buster suit and things like this, but he uses Arduino for everything. He has a remote control unit for, he built a Star Wars robot, but it's not R2D2, it's like CB5B, or one of those generic, similar to R2D2. He created a radio control system for it. He's big into 3D printing as well, so he added on all this extra control system on top of the radio control unit, so he can do all the individual commands. Then he sort of got it set up that individual parts of the machine have separate Arduinos. You need to watch his videos. xrobots.co.uk. If you look for him on YouTube, very interesting guy. And he never stops, constantly producing something. I think he's actually recently got a job because of his interest. So he's moved on from the job that was paying his bills onto a job that's much more interesting now, because it is actually the thing he's been doing as a hobby.
It helps.
It does, yes. If you can pay the bills and enjoy yourself at the same time, it's great. But have you something specific in mind to do it for, or just generally lead it, just to apply?
Well, no, generally sorry. I do a couple of lighting kits for some people who requested them off me, but you know, generally it's just to light the kits that I'm building, because it takes too long, and there's too much toing and froing between me and, you know, whoever to get a light made and sent down here. And if it isn't right for whatever reason, and that reason be the person programming it, it's me that can't quite settle on exactly what I need. More often than not, I need to actually I need to see it going, and then I can decide whether it's right or whether it's wrong.
It needs to be tweakable.
Yeah, that's right. And unfortunately, you know, I've not been stung, but I've you know, ordered a kit, got it in. Damn, it's not right. So I've got to now contact and say, oh, I want this done, I want that done. Can you do it? Yep, no worries. Send it off. You know, and it's usually like, you know, 3 and 4 weeks in between doing that, and it just ends up taking such a long time. So I thought for my own self, I would learn Arduino so I could do the kit myself, and get it right myself. Do a lot of tweaking. So slowly but surely I'm working through that, which is, it's a load of fun. It is very interesting. It's very informative. It's you know,
find it a little bit frustrating sometimes when something won't work?
Oh, yeah, for sure. But the good thing with the open source hardware group is if I'm having a problem with something, I can post up my code, post up my question, and you know, there's a whole bunch of people there to help you out, to muddle you through it, so to speak, which is it's fantastic. It's great.
Yeah, a lot of people make the code available for free, which is the beauty of it.
Sorry, what was that?
A lot of the people make the code available for free, rather than, you know, like there have been instances of people doing Arduino lighting kits pre-programmed.
Yeah.
They won't. The code almost. Sorry, am I breaking up?
You broke up there for a second. You carry on.
Sorry. Okay. People won't release the code.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that's been a complaint. Things they just won't make it. But if it's, I always thought then if it's in the Arduino, surely you have access to it when it's there, or is it compiling, or is it just
Cracking up there a bit?
Sorry, it's just if I had to guess, I would say my son's probably using the internet.
Ah, right. Okay. No, a lot of the programming is in the public domain, so you can use it for whatever you like. The Arduino itself comes with a lot of sketches for specific things. To blink an LED, to use a switch, to debounce a switch, to whatever. So there's a whole bunch of stuff there that you can actually use, and a lot of that you can just cut and paste it into your own program. Like, oh look, I'm using a switch, I'll debounce that switch, so I'll just use the debounce program and incorporate it into my program. So
I know
a lot of it is.
It must have been around the time I got back into modeling again and got an Arduino just to see what I could do with it. But the modeling took preference, and it just never got the time, never got into it. And again, at that stage they were about 25, 30 pounds. But this was the Dewey Milinova. Is that one of the bigger ones?
Okay, the one of the mega.
But I know now you're getting the little small ones for a couple of dollars. So.
Yeah, well, I bought a lot of tin for $18.
Just crazy.
Oh, it's fairly crazy. Yeah, and they were the little. I'm going for. I've got two lots. I've got 10 or 15 or so of each. I've got the nanos and the micros, and funnily enough, the nano. And the mini, sorry. I think the nano would be smaller than the mini, but it's vice versa. But the mini board, you actually need to plug in a little TTL drive in order to program it. But it does end up being smaller because it obviously doesn't have those features on board, where the nano version actually has the USB and the programmer on board the chip, so it does make it a little bit bigger. But generally, both of them are fairly small, and you can do an awful lot with them. When I first started to get into it, it had like 13 digital outputs. Well, as it turns out, you can use the 6 analog ports for digital outputs as well.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying about X-Robots guy. He ended up using the analog and the digital, and the radio control unit he has. He was able to control. You need to watch the videos to see what he's done, but he's incorporated a hell of a lot of features into a radio control unit that should only have been capable of doing a limited range of stuff. Because of the way he's done it, things like he's done all of the sound on the robot, all of the movements, all of the random stuff. So all the light features, so the lights are all random. So it's just all based on this radio control. And again,
actually, I was playing around with the Arduino, and Mitch Seagraves actually asked me if I could do him a board with 6 outputs. That gave him an engine effect.
Yeah.
So I just played around with the blink, and I got the blink to such a point where it was flickering very fast, and it didn't look too bad. But I actually wanted it a lot more random, and I just looked around and asked a couple of questions, and there's obviously a function in Arduino called random, and I just assigned it. And random, you need to use, I don't want to go too much into it because you won't understand it, I suppose, if you're not into it, but you need to use the pulse width modulation ports in order to get it random, because if you don't use that, that's like a pseudo analog.
Yeah, it goes from 0 to 255. Is that?
Yeah.
So you get all those variables.
That's exactly right. So you can step it up and step it down, where generally digital is just on and off. So the flicker that I got was just straight on and off, and it was fast, and I think it looked quite good, but it wasn't random enough. It was just a straight flicker, and I'm going, no, generally engines, jets don't look like that. So I ended up using the random function, using the pulse width modulation outputs on the board, and it looked really, really effective. I played around with it a bit to get some more independent flickering, and it looked really, really good. So I think Mitch is going to be quite happy with his engine effect when it gets it.
It's getting, you know, and once you get the hang of certain features, you just don't think twice about it. You just they're in, yeah. Something I may look at in the future to say I've so little time as it is to build that to start doing something different. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it does. It does require a fair amount, not to actually look at the tutorials, but each tutorial that you look at, you're really better off going to the Arduino site and having a look at all of their paraphernalia on the section that you're trying to learn. You know, they'll have some examples there of what you're trying to learn, the bit that you're trying to learn. Experimenting with it, playing around with it, and then moving on to the next one. Make sure you've got it nailed in your head. So you've got it, because if you try and move too fast with it, so I've been discovering, if you try and move too fast, your head starts to swim because you're not getting some of the concepts. So you're better off just to stop, get all the concepts, play around with it, and keep on playing around with stuff before. So if you've done X amount of things before it, you try and incorporate this new thing that you've learned in with what you've done before, so you can incorporate it into that program as well. So it is a lot of fun, but it does, as you say, it does take a lot of time to. Yeah,
unless you're going for something very simple, fine. But if you want to have a complex,
I've done. I did a board for my Marquee Raider, and it was just a simple navigation board. So that was just a flash. So that was, you know, your navigation. Like if you just wanted the board to do your strobes and your navigation, that wouldn't be an issue at all. That would be very easy to do. But I'm incorporating things like press a button and get the phases to fire X amount of times, and you know, blah blah, and press another button and the photon or the disruptor that I'm trying to do for Mitch, to get that to build up to a certain point and then flash. So you get that real, you know, like ramp up and then fire, ramp up, fire. Do that 2 or 3 times when you press the button once, it'll fire like 3 times for you, or however many times you like. So it is a challenge. I'll give it that.
I know here in the UK they're doing things, the BBC television. I mean, the BBC years ago had a BBC Micro, which was a computer idea. They brought that in to encourage people to start using computers. But what they're doing now, every child, I think it's either 7 or 8 years old, every child will be given it's very like a Raspberry Pi, which is again like the Arduino in some respects. But it's a slightly cheaper version. They're getting them mass produced, so they're going to start teaching programming, that programming language, to that age group. And funny, my daughter's going to be teaching that age group, so she's had to start learning the programming language. So
the joys of being a teacher. My sister's been a teacher, and yeah.
Almost done. Almost
really well.
done. Almost done. It's not bad. I mean, it does. It's strange. It looks like the lights are working, but they're not. It's a funny effect. It's the screen reflects on it. So I'm at that stage with that one. Then yesterday, while I was waiting for stuff to dry, I started on the Mad Max version, which is basically the same thing, but it's completely chopped. But it's deciding how much to chop. And then the other problem is that the engine in the Mad Max version, which is this one, is front mounted, not in the rear the way the Beetle was. So I'm going to have to start looking for our parts. I thought I would get away. I thought I could use these wheels, and they're not bad, but the scale's wrong. They're just too big. I think. I don't know. They just look too out of scale. I know it's Mad Max and it's meant to be weird and wonderful, but they're just too big. So I'm going to try and get some wheels somewhere online, but and vice versa.
Those wheels, you might be surprised. Those wheels, because I mean, when you think about it, Mad Max is sort of set in a really sandy, boggy type of area. Imagine how.
I'm just going by the size of those ones in the movie. They're a lot smaller than, in scale terms too. So I mean, the next thing is that whole I can't do this 2 fingers. This whole rear section, I'm going to have to decide what I'm going to do with that. Chop it off. I need a new engine mount at the front. The basic body will all be there. I mean, you're basically, the body's here up to that point on this figure here. It's the same idea. So, and then I'll have to put in a thingy structure, a support structure inside of, I call it a cage. What's the word?
Roll cage.
Roll cage. Yep. So I'll have to decide on that. But it's interesting. It's something different. That's what my son picked this up for me when it was away at the weekend. He picked up a nasty instrument of torture. But it made shopping dead easy.
I'll just get it out for you if I can ever find it. I do use it, but I bought this. Speaking of nasty, and this is the Tamiya razor saw.
Yeah, but that's nice. That looks like much better quality than this one, of course. But
this is the Tamiya one, so it's just the saw. It's not sort of interchangeable to anything else. But my God, I've cut plastic, I've cut resin, vinyl, everything with this really.
Oh, I was expecting this to be really difficult, but just let it just like butter through it. So
slide through like butter.
Yeah,
it's just crazy stuff. You could do some serious damage with that if you wanted to.
It came with 2 blades. I don't know. I think this blade. I don't know if this blade's a different teeth on it or something, or the fact it's just a deeper blade. I don't know. It doesn't look any different in terms of the actual teeth themselves look identical. So I think they're just cutting deeper objects. But my son was visiting his girlfriend. He was in the local model shop in Coleraine, which is it's near where Randall lives. So it was handy to get that, because I've been thinking about getting a. I know you get the photo etch saws now, but the problem with them apparently is they're so thin that they can buckle or they snap. So I thought better off getting something that's going to last a while.
Got some of those. They aren't bad. I've actually got photo etch scriber, and it's a good thing that you actually get X amount of blades, because after using the photo etch scriber for a while, the actual tip started to bend up, and there's only so many times you can actually go back and bend it back into shape before it'll snap.
I got those things from the dental department in the hospital.
All right. Yeah.
They're so. I mean, the tip on that, I've been using it for about a year, and it shows no sign at all of any wear and tear. And they're just about the right size for scribing. It begins to be heavy hand.
They're super hardened. So they're pretty lethal.
And they throw them away, so it's I may as well get them when they've been used for a while.
Yeah, they go through the enclave, so they're properly cleaned.
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't get it. The amount of stuff when I was in the hospital working there, the amount of stuff that we would throw out was staggering.
yeah. That's I mean that's how I get my number 11 blades as well.
We don't say anything about that, do we?
Not that, but they haven't been used at least. So.
Yeah, no. But I understand. I understand. It's fairly crazy what they throw out.
Yeah,
it is insane. I have been in amongst doing the Arduino. I've had this kit sitting up there, and it's been together, put together. But I've had this for about 25 years. It's stupid. It just traveled around with me. I was afraid of it because I had a picture in my head how I wanted to do it, but I didn't think, 25 years ago that my skill was up to it. So I put it aside. Well, I found a model store, a Chinese recast store online, and I found Guyver. This is Guyver Zoanoid. This is the bad guy. So as I say, I've had him for 25 years or so. Whereas Guyver, I only just recently got him. Well, because he was only $10, I did him, and he turned out really well. So I thought I'd do the bad guy, and his detail is just spectacular. It's unbelievable. So slowly but surely, I've been painting up. There's two sort of distinct sections on this. There's like a muscle part. It's almost like it's got exposed muscles, and then it's got like this bio armor as well. So I've been doing the exposed muscles. You can't really. It's a bit hard to actually. It washes it out and doesn't really show it up all that well. But I've been doing the muscle structure. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see. It does get washed out.
I see a cable going up his foot as well. So.
Oh yeah. He's got his eyes are lit. So I've masked that off so it doesn't get wrecked. But I've been doing muscle structure. You can't really see it that much, but it's turning out really well. I've just been taking my time on it and doing that. And I had to, in order to get to a lot of the parts. Whoops! In order to get to some of the parts, I had to take his head off. So I took his head off and whatnot else. But yeah, he's a really good figure. So once I finish with the muscle structure, then I'll go on to the armor and just mask it off with silly putty of all things.
Yeah,
really good stuff. It's really good stuff. I do like it. It doesn't pull up any paint. It doesn't leave any residue. It really good stuff to use, and you can sort of.
That's the same idea, exactly the same. Just it's called Clever Putty. There's another one here in the UK called Panzer Putty, but you pay about it's crazy prices.
Panzer Putty. I've looked at reviews of Panzer Putty. I've looked at reviews for memory putty, for all sorts of those putty. They are literally silly putty.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yep.
They are all exactly the same.
That was very cheap. I got that really cheap on Amazon. So again, just because it wasn't the name of all the other stuff. I don't know. Have you heard of Badger have a new? Well, I don't know if it's new, but there's been a whole thing in the UK this last couple of weeks where people are raving about Badger's primer stuff called Steinel Rays.
I was actually going to ask you because I had to order it through Amazon. I cannot find a distributor here in Australia that actually sells the Steinel Res, but
there seems to be only one company in the UK crowd called Barwell.
I got onto their site, and it looks great, but whenever I go to ship to Australia, there's only a ship to England feature. But they did send me an email saying if you want it shipped somewhere else, then let us know and we'll send you.
There isn't a Badger distributor for Australia, no?
No, no. Well, not that I know of. I don't know.
The issue in the UK now is it's what they call the Fleury effect. Every time Philip Fleury has Fleury models. He's a forum and does
yes.
every time he reviews something and sings its praises, it's gone. It sells out everywhere. I had looked at it about a month, 6 weeks ago. I've been looking at it because of the Vallejo stuff. The Vallejo primer is fantastic, but I still have issues with it. This business about having to let it sit.
I've got the Vallejo primer, and I have tried everything. I've tried mixing it with Future. I have tried. I mean, you wouldn't believe it. I have tried mixing it with lacquer thinner. Doesn't like it. Yeah. Really doesn't like it. But so if I mix it with isopropyl alcohol, all different types of things to try and get it to lay down properly. Well, it lays down beautifully anyway.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's superb. But you can't stand it. So
yeah, it pulls up every time. It creates this, and I cannot for the life of me get it to feather out. If you want to wait a few weeks for the stuff to dry, then it'll feather out. But I cannot get it to feather out. So basically, what I've been using is it's really nice stuff. It's called Mr. Surfacer 1200. It's in a can, rattle can.
That's I got a can of it to try, but I haven't touched it yet. Because I wanted to keep my craft build. But it
is beautiful. It lays down like glass smooth.
Yeah.
It's just the nicest stuff. But unfortunately, it is rather expensive. So I was looking around for primers that I could actually use through my airbrush. I didn't want to decant all the time. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. So I was looking through that. And funnily enough, I got onto Philip Fleury, and he did the Steinel Res review. Yeah. And I just went, oh, finally, an airbrush primer that is actually going to work properly, because I've seen reviews for lots of different stuff, including Scale 75 and MIG and all sorts of primers.
There's so many of them, yeah.
Okay, that there's just ridiculous, and all of them have major league flaws with them.
Yeah. I mean, I was using the old bog standard the stuff, which is just.
I mean, he get this, the Steiner Res stuff. He managed to sand it like 5 minutes after he.
Yeah. So saying that, when I used that's from a pound shop.
Yeah.
And it works fine. But the problem is it's coarse. It will spray down. You can sand it within an hour, no problem at all. Really good coverage, but it ends up with a sort of almost a sandy texture, and it's not because of the spraying technique or something. It's just the nature of the paint. But I had seen that the Steinel Res stuff being talked about 6 weeks ago, and I looked and I was going to order it and I didn't, and now I'm kicking myself that I didn't. It was the same time I bought the Vallejo primer. And it was funny with listening to Philip talking about the fact that he just thought, oh, here we go, another wonder product that isn't. He did it on the live show last Tuesday night. He does a live show on a Tuesday.
Hang on
that.
Sorry, Liam. My daughter's just at the door.
No problem. Okay, go for it.
My daughter's going to school and she's going to miss the bus, so I have to take her at some stage.
Not a problem.
Very.
Not a problem.
I'll be back. It'll only be 5 minutes down the road and back, but yeah. I need to take her to another bus stop.
Always. I've been there, done that. Yes. Thankfully, my daughter's now self-employed, so that'll no longer be a problem. So.
Yeah. Yeah, so you were talking about the Steinelrez stuff.
Yeah, if what I've done is I've asked them to notify me when it comes back into stock again.
This is the Bartel, whatever it is.
Barwell something. It's just
Yep.
it sounds like it's a one-man band business. It seems to be a guy that runs it by himself because the website's terrible.
Yeah.
And again, he seems to be the UK agent for Badger. Weller now the prices you've probably seen the prices were about for a 2 ounce. I think it was about £9, which it's not a lot, but
well, I'm going for the because it's hard to get a hold of, and it takes a long time to get down here. I'm going to go for there's a 4 ounce 3-pack.
Yeah, black, white, and grey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, now I don't know. Philip Flory had an update. He does a video log, a daily video log, and Badger contacted him. He contacted asked various different questions, and Badger came back to them and said they do $2 colors as well. So if you're doing a tank build with a yellow or something, or another color, so
Wow.
Just Wayne wants to join in here. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
But certainly, as I say, the Flory effect, it's just sold out everywhere. So there is a guy who does it on eBay, but the prices are So again, I found it on there was an Amazon had it. Someone on Amazon was selling it. It was £82 they wanted for a bag of 3. So
good.
But it's when you see some of the prices on Amazon, you think it's just because there's only one of them available, people think they can charge anything like. Hi, Wayne.
Oh yeah. Hi Keith. Hi Liam. How are you?
Fine, thank you. We're just talking about Steinel Res primer. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Really no.
No,
I'll tell you what. I've had a problem. I had a problem on eBay. I saw this Black Label Conqueror Heavy Tank 2 for 99p.
Right.
Just started out. I started bidding on it, but then somebody was ghost bidding me, auto bidding.
Yes.
So.
Did you miss out then, or?
I didn't last out anyway. I've been at work for the past 36 hours, so I've been working 12 hours a day. So.
Raw you than me. Make hay while the sun shines, as it's supposed to. Although the current, I don't know what the weather's like over where you're working, but the weather here is pants.
Cold.
Yeah.
It's raining, it's cold, and it's wet, so it might have been winter for all we know.
Well, I suppose that's a UK summer, I suppose, especially at the beach.
Yeah.
But people still go on holiday. They have no choice.
This is the kids' holiday, isn't it? School holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here in Northern Ireland, our holiday starts at the end of June until the end of August. In the UK, it tends to be sort of the middle of July, middle to the sort of about the 20th of July it starts. So our school holidays in Northern Ireland are about 8 weeks. In the UK, they're more like sort of 5.5, 6 weeks.
Yes.
Our kids here have even more time to be fed up and have nothing to do.
Yeah. Well, it drives me out the wall because my kids, we just had 2 weeks holiday, and they're just back, and I think they're back for like 7 weeks, and then they have another 2 weeks holiday, and then they're back for another few weeks, and then they have another. It's like, oh my God! And then there's like 8 weeks or so, 7 or 8 weeks over Christmas time that they have their holiday.
That must be weird being off for so long at Christmas.
It's strange trying to come up with things to do for them and keep them entertained and stuff like that, because they just get so frustrated, which is understandable.
Gags. Duct tape and gags.
Yeah. They say silence is golden, but unfortunately duct tape is silver.
It's probably illegal as well.
Yeah.
I was sure.
It says in something.
Say again?
Only if somebody says something.
That's right.
Fair enough. I was showing Keith the Beatles. The Beatles are almost done. The windows are in. A few more chromey bits to go on, the handles to go on, and the bumpers to go on. But I've started into my the Mad Max version, which is going to be severely chopped compared with what the other one is.
Well, we've done it differently. I've done the Mad Max build first, then I'm going to build a straight cut-off build.
That was just well. When I saw how good the Beetle was, I didn't want to destroy it. That was my problem. So.
Yeah.
Well, the best thing about this Mad Max build is no rivet counters can say where you've gone wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
People see my progress so far.
I don't have. For some reason, I don't get your. Well, there you are now. Right. Okay. Let me see. Try and go full screen. Oh, very good.
Very nice.
How did you do the wire netting?
Well, that was a new release from Fields of Glory model kits, which is on eBay. They do like resin kits for the storage and stuff.
Sorry guys, I'll be back in a minute. I just have to take my daughter down to the bus stop. Might be long.
No problem, Keith. Yeah. Okay. Hi, John.
Hello.
Yeah.
You all right?
Yep. We're just talking about Mad Max builds here.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
It was a challenge. Scratch and Jack Holzer on Amazing Plastic across the pond started a Mad Max idea. So I've been doing something. Wayne's been doing something. A couple of other people. Andrew Campbell's been doing something. I think who else was producing something, but it was just something different. I don't know if you saw. I've been doing this Beetle.
Oh no, I love that. It looks amazing, that mate.
So because it was such a nice kit, I didn't want to destroy it, so I ended up buying another one. So this is now the Mad Max part of it, which I'm hoping will end up. I won't duplicate it, but I'm hoping it ends up something like that.
Oh yeah.
But again, the vague similarities, but a lot to do.
Yeah.
I was saying to Keith, the biggest issue I've had is I got a toy kit, like a kid's toy.
Yeah, yeah.
My idea was to use these tires, but they're a little bit too big. I have to try and find alternate tires. But I don't want to buy another kit to destroy another kit if you know what I'm getting at.
Well, yeah.
But that kit that Wayne has, the lorry, that's the sort of tires I probably need. But what are you working on yourself? Anything?
At the moment, I'm still doing bits of paper models, like so. I'm building. I don't know if you can see it. No, one motorbike.
Oh, very good.
So,
Do you ever watch the Across the Pond Hangouts?
I've watched one, but
James Frost, who attends that. James is outside Toronto. He's a full-time paper modeler, and the stuff he produces is just incredible.
Yeah.
That looks superb.
It's taken me, it's about 3 weeks worth of work. So it's painstaking when you consider this is a rear suspension strut.
Yeah, I've seen. And James spends days just working on the smallest little. He did the Bismarck.
Yeah, like these. That's how it comes in for A4 sheets.
Yeah. It's the fact you can download. I mean, I don't know. I have a link for somewhere if you want to have a look. There's tons and tons of models on it.
Yeah, I've got over about 300 models, paper ones.
Right.
On eBay, I've seen these downloads for like you can make 1-to-1 scale paper replica rifles and machine guns.
Oh yeah. That one of the things I wanted to do was the phaser rifle from Star Trek: The Next Generation or the movies.
They do all the Star Trek stuff. You can get the phasers, the communicators. I've got ones for plans for the original communicator.
Yeah.
And they look pretty good actually. Consider sort of like I say, they're only made out of paper. People usually think, well, paper, you're not going to get so much detail in that, but they're amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
if you have patience, I just wouldn't have the patience. I think I would be. It was interesting. James was on the Hangout at the weekend, and as I say, he's outside Toronto, and the temperature was 102, 103 degrees, but really high humidity.
Yeah.
The problem he was having was the paper was reacting to the humidity. and it just doesn't behave the same. It sort of becomes floppy and it doesn't have any strength.
It's like the type of glue that you use. You've got to make sure you get a glue that's got quite a low water content.
Yep.
Or
Always.
I've been doing it off and on now for about a year or so.
I suppose it's the fact you can get the models so easily. You just download them and print them out. That's the thing too.
Well, I've got like full suits. Literally, I've got the Iron Man full suit. I've got the three of the different Iron Mans, and I've got Rocketeer.
Capicura. Is that what you?
Yeah, Rocketeer. I've got the Rocketeer backpack, and
nice. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind building one of them and making it like a hard model. So
yeah, I know. Again, it was funny. I was talking about him earlier on. xrobots.co.uk. Don't look at his videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
He did all that. That's how he started off originally with the Iron Man stuff. It was all Capicura, and then he did it onto foam, and then coated the foam in PVC, so it ended up hard, you know. So, but it's I have a friend at work who keeps thinking about doing it, but it's the old story. It's time.
Yeah, they do all the different. I say they do quite a lot of the sci-fi stuff as well. Like, as you say, like the car models, the motorbikes. The motorbikes are quite detailed. This is my third attempt at this one, so see if I eventually build it. Like, I've got to this stage before and I give up.
So what size will it be when it's finished? That looks quite large, is it?
How can I don't know. I'm not really good at the measuring, so
just if it's, you know, you're talking, is it, you know, it's like the old thing about a fish, is it this big or was it this big, you know?
Yeah, it's about 200 mil across.
About so 300 mil is about 12 inches. It's about 8 inches, yeah.
Yeah, and it's about, what can I put? It's about 50, 60 mil wide at the top one.
Nice, yeah.
But it's gonna be quite a lot larger than what it is now. They'll say the back piece itself is.
That's from a series or a TV program or?
No, it's just it's an R1 motorbike.
Sorry, I must have heard you the first time. Okay, right, yeah.
So it's one of like a race replica.
Yeah.
So
very nice.
How
thick is your paper?
I'm using how quite now. I can't really tell how.
Well, I know.
It's quite thick. Like, it's a lot thicker than normal standard paper.
Yeah, I know. I know sometimes. The job I'm in, we use different thicknesses of paper. It can be 80 gram, 100 gram, 160 gram, 200 gram. 200 gram, it's more like card that you're at that stage.
This is more like a card stuff. Yeah. It's like a card stock more than anything. But
hi, Frankie. Can you hear me? Frankie Day. Oh, he's muted and back on again.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Frankie. Sorry. Yep. Your mic's gone off. I can hear you. Yes, fine. Thanks, Frankie. Nice to chat to you. We haven't spoken before, but I've seen all your posts, and was admiring your Focke-Wulf 190 build.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.
The 124 scale, very nice.
Oh yeah. That was
a bad kit or a good kit?
It was a good kit, though. That was sure a lot of fun cleaning all the flash off that kit.
Yeah, well, Airfix kit. You can't expect anything else. So, I have the 124th Hurricane, but again, when I'll ever get around to building it, I don't know. It'll be an interesting one. Funny enough, the one you're going to build next, the Arado.
Yeah.
I was trying to get the Arado not the B3, the B6, the one with the the two floats, not the single float one.
Oh, the model.
Yeah, but it's sold out everywhere in the UK. So the same. It's a Revell kit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Revell. Yeah, I think it's Revell Germany.
Yeah, Revell 1/32 scale Arado. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm studying all that right now, sir.
But you're a wide variety of modelers. Well, I see you were building the ships as well. You're building boats. I did a building fishing boat when I was about 15, long time ago, and it took me about 2 years to build it. So.
Yeah, I got the Denmark pretty well shaken out. I got the way I built it, but the way I planned it. So when winter gets in here, I'll be able to do some rigging on it.
Yeah, that's definitely a winter job. To do that, yeah.
Yeah, these building kits are pretty good. They're years ago they used to be really dirt cheap. We used to get these things just less than $20.
Yeah, it was the accessory parts that used to cost the extra money. Yeah, when
Yeah,
you had to buy all of the brass parts and so on, which is what.
absolutely.
Yeah.
They're sold separately. LGR Billing was he was the one that started Billings, and I guess when he started producing Billings kits, he more or less sold you the wooden set, hoping you had some kind of skill to make parts for yourself. But if you couldn't make parts yourself, the fitting set was available. So, as long as they make the fitting set, just might as well just buy the fitting set. So all the hassle of making the stuff your own, unless you like to do it for fun.
I have a wooden kit, which again, it's one of those. It's something for my retirement. I have a wooden kit of the Drake's ship, the Golden Hind, that I have to build at some stage. But again, it's a very strange construction method. It's a Danish kit, and the instructions are in Danish, so I'm going to have fun with that when I eventually get around to it. But I got it on eBay dirt cheap, so I went for it one time about 3 years ago.
Yes, sir.
It's interesting just that, I mean, you must have had you got the Focke-Wulf for a long time?
I bought the Focke with the 190. This is a new kit. This is a big red box.
Yeah.
I think I bought this about 4 months ago.
Oh, right. I thought it was an older kit. Right, okay. And so I know it's quite an old...
It's an older kit there. Older kit, sir. It's just been reboxed to the new red box. I like that kit came out in 1981, 82, still around there. It's a real old kit, but it's still good though.
But again, it's available, but it can be quite expensive. The Mustang came out about the same time, I think.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, not that. I would like to get the Mustang, but apparently it's awful to build. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I think the only R124 scale kits are the. Is it?
Yeah.
It's not Hasegawa. No, Academy do them.
I believe so.
Hold on, I'm just reading a message from someone. Just let me see if I can. Let me see if I can add someone on here. Hold on. Just checking to see. You're mainly in the styrene syndicate, Frankie, isn't that right? Oh, he's away. He's gone. Okay. Frankie's a fantastic builder. He does all sorts of stuff. I don't know how many of you are familiar with him.
No, I don't think I'm.
Frankie Day is on. He has a YouTube channel.
Last night. I met him on nights.
Right. Yep. Very nice guy. He seems to be anyway, but and again, it's mostly aircraft. But he does the ship stuff.
Connections work.
Pardon?
You can't get connections to work. That's on Saturday night.
Oh, right. Maybe that's why maybe he's popped off this time as well. Oh, he's back. Yeah, he's back again. I know a lot of people seem to be having problems with the internet. Hi, Frankie. Wayne was just saying you were having issues with your internet on Saturday night too. Your sound's not picking up.
I think he's frozen.
That's frozen. Just seeing if Jack wants to join us for a minute. Hi, Frankie. Sorry, is your sound working now?
Yeah, I think it goes off and on.
Oh, yeah, that goes off and on. I seem to, because your YouTube videos are good quality, but your internet quality doesn't seem to be the same at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been having problems with it lately.
Hi, Jack.
I have a couple minutes.
I've got a couple of minutes. I'm just about to stop broadcasting here tonight. I don't know if you wanted to have do a quick mention of when the next show will be.
Okay. Of course, I'm in the dark.
You're okay.
If this works. It didn't work too well.
That's better.
How does this work?
That's great. Yeah, a lot more civilized looking.
All right. I have a few minutes. So I need to get back downstairs. I'm dog sitting right now.
So what's the plans for the Amazing Plastic then? When's the big launch?
I'm thinking of doing a video series.
Right.
So
Okay.
this hoopla is about doing a video series, and I haven't decided if I want to keep the Hangouts in the community or do additional Hangouts for something else. So
Right. I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, Are
we on?
Oh yeah, we're just broadcasting at the minute. I'm just about to finish off.
Oh, okay. I thought you haven't even begun yet.
No. I am an early Monday evening. Unfortunately I can't keep going too late. I'm not free to continue into the night. No, it was just in case there was some news about what the plans were. But from what you're saying, it's
Well, we're going to have the Hangouts as per usual. I haven't decided as to whether or not keep them in the community or put them in a different place.
right.
I want to do a video series called the Amazing Plastic Workbench.
Uh-huh.
And basically, I'm kind of formulating it to be, first, of course, the hobby that we're in, and eventually I want to evolve into the exploration of other different kinds of hobbies.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think for the first year, I've been doing research and studying up on how to work with a YouTube channel. So I've been learning quite a bit. But as far as the Amazing Plastic community goes, it's almost as usual. It's developed its own traditions. It's developed its own personality.
Mm-hmm.
I put out a survey. I'm going to do more surveys in the future. And I'm actually pretty surprised that currently in Amazing Plastic that sci-fi is big as a preferred genre.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw the responses. I mean, how many have you had in total?
Right now it's 61 votes. So 49% is sci-fi. The next up will be military, 23%. Cars and trucks and trains, 15%. Aviation, 10%, and nautical, only 3%. So now I know where to go with the videos.
Yeah. I know. Certainly, there was from Saturday's broadcast as well, from across the pond on Saturday. That was the same thing. That everyone that seemed to be there enjoyed all types of models. But there still seems to be a predominance that people want to build sci-fi stuff. It's interesting, you know. Perhaps it's because we use the technology, we're online, and that's sort of that connection that way. Maybe, I don't know, but
right.
But whatever the news is, keep us informed, keep us up to date, and we'll try. I would like. I don't know if I'll be free next Sunday night. I think. Are you still going ahead with that one?
I have a anniversary show coming up on August 2nd.
Right.
This is coming Sunday. Really.
Yeah. I may try and pop in just to say hello.
Okay.
Because obviously.
That's going to be pretty late for you.
Well, it'll just be a hello, good night. So we'll see what we can do. Just to show my face, to say, just to say that congratulations with the anniversary and so on.
I'm thinking of doing a small across the pond on the 8th, the following Saturday. Regular programming will resume with Across the Pond August 22nd. That will be the 13th of August. I found to be the anniversary date for Amazing Plastic. But I'm actually vacationing. I'm on holiday then. I'm going to Washington, D.C. for a weekend.
Nice.
And, I'll be back the following weekend, and I hope to get all these bugs out of my computers.
Right. I mean, your picture quality is fine tonight. I know it seems to be working fine here. So, and I'm still having issues with my connection. It's not a very, very good connection, unfortunately. I'm still only getting 8 meg at times, and I should be a lot better. That's what I had an engineer here last Saturday morning, up to about half an hour before the broadcast started, and I was panicking a lot that I wouldn't be able to do the broadcast. But it went. I don't know if you've watched it back, but it went quite well. I thought there was a few different faces, so just to try and mix things up a little bit. I'm just going to stop the broadcast. Thanks for joining in, guys, but don't go away yet. Just a second.